Foster care, a system tasked with providing temporary refuge and care for children facing difficult circumstances. However, beneath the surface of the seemingly benevolent structure lies a multitude of challenges that demand urgent attention and reform. This video will navigate the labyrinth of a system that should ideally serve as a haven for growth and healing, hoping to spark an impetus for transformative change in the next 20 years.
Whenever possible, children should grow up in a home with their family. When problems arise, attempts should be made to keep children safely at home. Too many children and youth spend years isolated and confined in foster care group homes.
One of these challenges in the foster care system is mental and behavioral health problems, including developmental disorders. The abuse and neglect experienced by these children often lead to behavioral issues as they struggle to express their hurt and suffering without adequate support systems. This can also lead to decreased self-esteem and confidence, worsening a person's mental state. Furthermore, mental health emerges as the largest unmet health concern for children and teens in foster care, with up to 80% experiencing significant mental health issues compared with approximately 18 to 22% of the general population.
This past May, the committee held a hearing on the need to safely reduce reliance on foster care group homes. The committee also heard testimony about how expensive, inappropriate, and untimely detrimental placement in these homes can be for many children and youth.
Substance abuse and suicide rate also pose serious concern within the foster care system. Adolescents involved in foster care exhibit higher rates of psychiatric symptoms, more frequently substance use disorder and suicide attempts compared to those not placed in foster care.
How many children in the foster care system have resorted to using drugs as a coping mechanism? When we look at it from a statistical point of view, it's about 30% of children who enter the foster care system for one reason or another resort to using drugs as a coping mechanism at some point in their lifetime. When we look at it, that number in comparison to their counterparts who have never entered the foster care system, that's about a 10 to 15% more chance of them doing drugs than their counterparts who, once again, have not entered the foster care system.
For foster care, first we need to make sure the environment is safe and they don't get any physical and mental harassment. And the kids, they get more food and more clothes and what they need for minimum survival. And actually we need to make sure all of those things because they are kids, so for foster care they need to give safe place for them.
Moreover, over a time period of 12 months, a study examined adolescents involved with foster care and found they were about 4 times more likely to have attempted suicide and 5 times more likely to receive a drug dependence diagnosis. The foster care system faces the challenge of abusive and neglectful foster parents as some individuals exploit it for financial gain, placing vulnerable children in homes that prioritize profits over the children's welfare. There are too many instances of abuse within the foster care system.
Because protecting America's most vulnerable children from abuse and neglect is a moral imperative. Please remember, we're talking about the most vulnerable children in the United States. Children who have faced abuse. Children who have been trafficked, children who have faced neglect and who have been orphaned.
A recent study reported that within the United States, there were 615,000 victims of maltreatment under age 18 in 2020. The impact of this unstable environment extends into the future lives of those who age out of the system. Former foster care youth struggle to find stable employment, housing, and support systems, and many also lack essential life skills and struggle with basic tasks. To address these issues and improve the foster care system in the United States over the next 20 years, essential actions are required. Enhanced training and support for foster parents is paramount. It is mandatory for foster parents to undergo rigorous training programs focusing on trauma-informed care, effective communication, and recognizing mental health issues in children. This will better equip them to handle the complexities of caring for foster care children. Increased funding and resources are also vital. Advocacy for heightened government funding will ensure the availability of mental health services, educational support, and extracurricular activities for children in foster care. Designating funds specifically for different areas in the system is necessary to uphold standards of care. In addition, improvement in mental and behavioral health services is crucial. Collaborating between child welfare agencies and mental health organizations, as well as integrating mental health professionals into the foster care system, would facilitate timely assessments and intervention plans for children struggling with mental health challenges. Additionally, the prevention of abusive practices demands firm measures.
And the biggest danger is that children could go from the frying pan into the fire, and they could be left with people who may not be safe. They're not screened or vetted or approved by defects. There's no criminal background checks, no drug screens, certainly no extensive training as a qualified foster parent.
Strengthening screening processes for foster parents, including thorough background checks and psychological assessment, is necessary to reduce instances of abuse. Regular and surprise inspections of foster homes can detect and address signs of maltreatment promptly.
In the next 2 decades, comprehensive changes are needed to improve the American foster care system and tackle the difficulties experienced by these children. This demands a transformative approach emphasizing enhanced support for foster parents, increased resources in mental health services, and prevention of abuse. The goal is to achieve a systemic shift that fosters the emotional, mental, and future well-being of every child, creating a foster care landscape that serves as a sanctuary for growth, healing, and the fulfillment of each child's potential.